This man named Mark Anderson witnessed a strange event while diving in the deep sea that he could never have imagined. Anderson has about 10 years of experience in diving in the deep sea. He has captured images of countless small to large sea creatures on his camera, but he had no idea that on September 9th, he would face a terrible event that would change his life forever. Mark Anderson set out for a diving trip 200 miles off the coast of British Columbia as usual. That day, the ocean water was clear and calm. Although the water was very cold, about 12 degrees Celsius. Mark slowly descended into the depths of the sea. He began to capture seaweed and small fish on camera. Then his eyes suddenly fell on a small group of sea cucumbers. Mark decided to take some close-up photos of them. But then he felt a strange wave in the water. He noticed an invisible movement under the water. He could feel that some large animal was swimming around him. Mark thought it might be a seal or a small orca, because these were common creatures for divers. But when he moved forward, what he saw made him freeze in the cold water for a few seconds. A baby humpback whale, about 4 meters long, was swimming a few meters away from Mark. Mark noticed that the animal was moving very strangely. This is not usually the behavior of these huge monsters. But that day, this huge baby humpback started to move with jerks, and looks at him with a seductive look to attract the driver's attention. Mark thinks it's normal and moves forward without paying any attention to the child. But, music, the child continues to follow Mark. It circles around him. Mark takes a deep breath. He grabbed his camera and started filming this strange behavior of the baby humpback whale. But he didn't feel calm when he saw the animal. Then suddenly the baby came very close to him and started swimming. And with its huge fin it seemed to want to touch Mark. It kept doing this strange behavior over and over again, and seeing the child's behavior, Mark suddenly realized that the child was trying to tell him something. Because in his 10 years of diving experience, he had never seen such strange behavior from animals. After circling around Mark about 7 to 8 times, the child suddenly deliberately changed its direction and stopped 20 meters away. Then it turned and looked at Mark as if checking to see if Mark was approaching him. Mark noticed the emotion in the baby's small eyes, as if he was beckoning him to show him something. Mark knew very well that chasing these terrible sea monsters could be very dangerous. But seeing the strange behavior of the humpback baby increased his curiosity, and he knows that his life is in danger, but he still follows him. They head north and get farther from the shore. Every time they get 30 to 40 meters away, the baby stops so that Mark can follow him properly. Then they slowly start going deeper. And the bottom starts to turn black. The deeper they went into the sea, the more the sunlight became dim. And the darker it got. After descending a few meters, they reached a small valley on the seabed, and here Mark saw something that made his body freeze with fear, an adult humpback whale about 14 meters long, floating motionlessly in the water. Its body is covered with some strange stuff. From a distance, it looks like it is coated with something gray. When Mark gets close to the shell, he immediately realizes that these are barnacles. In fact, these barnacles, which look like garlic, are a type of marine organism that collects food by attaching themselves to the bodies of whales. The whale's large body also protects it from other predators. However, barnacles are commonly found on whales' bodies. But the barnacle colonies that have settled on this whale's body are no small group. They have fallen a layer that is about a few centimeters thick. They cover its entire body except for its eyes. Mark notices that the baby is circling around this huge humpback as if caressing it. Mark can't understand anymore. This whale is his mother. And she seems very happy to bring Mark to his mother. Mark takes some courage and moves closer to the humpback. And he sees that the parasitic barnacles are stuck in its body in a way that has made it completely weak. He was only able to move his fin. Just as a human child calls a doctor for a sick mother, it seemed that this humpback baby had called a doctor named Mark for his mother. Seeing this child's faith in humans, Mark became emotional. He had to revive this dead animal by any means necessary and return the baby to its beloved mother. The barnacles have mutilated the creature's body. There are so many of them that Mark cannot remove them alone. Even so, Mark must save the baby's mother at all costs. With this thought in mind, he takes out a knife from his belt and slowly begins to remove the barnacles, but they were so tightly attached to his body that it was a laborious task. There was no way Mark could remove them all by himself. Even then, he managed to remove a section of barnacles the size of a dining table. Meanwhile, his oxygen cylinder was running low. He needs to get oxygen quickly. Otherwise, he won't be able to survive on his own. So he quickly gets up and, once back on the boat, contacts the Coastal Marine Rescue Team and explains the whole incident to them. They also start asking various questions, like how serious the animal's condition is, how deep the animal is, etc. Mark tells them everything in detail and also tells them that he has a small child with him. After getting all the information, the Marine Rescue Team asks him to wait for about an hour. In the meantime, Mark takes oxygen and dives back into the water to check if they are there, and when Mark went down, he was completely shocked. The baby and mother were still above that small valley. They probably realized that Mark would definitely bring help for them. In the meantime, the rescue team arrived there. There were a total of 6 crew members on this boat. 3 of them were rescue specialists. 1 was a behaviorist and 2 were doctors. Under Mark's direction, they quickly went into the depths of the sea with 2 other drivers. The tools they were using to remove the barnacles were much more advanced and effective than Mark's knife. With this, the barnacles were being removed very delicately without damaging the animal's skin or causing any injury. However, this task took them a long time, so they were changing their oxygen tank every hour. When the barnacles were completely removed, the doctors examined the animal in various ways. They found out that there were some strange things inside its stomach. They decided to perform emergency surgery on the animal as soon as possible. The whale was brought to a marine rehabilitation center for surgery on a tugboat. It was a very risky operation for them because the whale was so weak that it could have died when the inflatable wrap and the baby, which was being brought to shore on a tugboat, followed its mother from a distance of 1 meter. When the doctors at the rehabilitation center began operating on the whale, they removed something from the whale's stomach that shocked everyone present, a large industrial fishing net filled with toxic chemicals. When they tested the fishing net in the lab, they found that it was made with a dangerous chemical called tributyltin. When the whale swallowed the net, the chemical began to dissolve in its stomach acid. It then spread through its bloodstream and spread throughout its body, slowly destroying all of its organs, which is called slow poison. Just imagine how many innocent animals can die horribly because of your abandoned things being thrown everywhere. Even after putting bans on nets made with this chemical in 2000, some people are still fishing with it. In the meantime, his liver has become much larger than normal. Inflammation had occurred in the tissues. Also, her kidney condition was very bad. Her immune system was also very low. Plus, the barnacles had infected her body. But even then, the fact that she was still alive in this difficult situation was what surprised the doctors the most. Maybe she was fighting to survive for her baby. Although the child was very intelligent and brave, he came to ask for help from people without caring for his life. Because there are many people who would have killed him, thinking that he was a dangerous monster. After giving adequate treatment, the doctors kept him in a recovery pool for the next 3 weeks. And here Mark would come to see him every day. Gradually, the level of reaction started to decrease. His blood circulation started to normalize. His immunity started to increase. And one day, this helpless whale completely recovered. Then he was taken to the sea and released. Friends, think about it for a moment that if the child hadn't come to Mark for help, we would never have known that his mother was in such danger. In the end, thanks to Mark's bravery, his mother was brought back to life.